Episode 3. Hey, we did it. I thought this was gonna flunk after like one episode or two. But hey, we're still going. We're not stopping.
No.
But day 3 here in Vegas. Yesterday we had the Monster Stack Day 1A. Went well for one of us, not so well for the other. I busted just right after dinner break, kings into aces, but someone spun up. You were at 15 bigs?
I was down. I was down to about half starting around mid-afternoon, and then just managed to find a few spots. Got up to almost 100,000 chips, which is about twice starting. And coming back to day 2 on Sunday morning, that'll be about 30 bigs. So I get a chance to make a little action. We'll see. Fingers crossed.
Yeah, I was looking at some of the numbers. It looks like about a third of the people made it through. So you're like just like a hair below average. But
all right.
Who cares about average at this point, right?
Yeah.
But with a third of the people left, when you come back for day 2, it'll probably still be a good chunk of play before in the money. But I think they're planning on in the money day 2.
I don't even look at that honestly because I just want to make good poker decisions one after the other. And
it's just money anyways. Who cares about it?
Yeah, that's right. We are recreational poker players, so no, I'm really excited. Obviously, bagging in a WSOP event is great, and the money matters. So once we're getting close to the bubble, you're gonna see me knitting up pretty tight, I think.
But yeah, no, I mean it's a really great structure. The Monster Stack.
Yeah.
It was our levels. I was short for quite a while there towards the end, hovering around like 35K, 30K for quite a while, but like, I mean, it was still like 30 bigs and 25 bigs, and then I finally got to 20 bigs, and for the first time that day, I got pocket kings, and opened, and someone else had pocket aces. So like, I play all those hands and play for, 9 hours, something like that, and then finally get kings, and then someone else has aces at the same time. But hey, that's poker, right?
It's certainly MTT poker. Sometimes I think we're all like masochists for this MTT roller coaster that we love, because you can play perfectly all day and just have one cooler at the end of the day and like your whole day is shot. But I guess that is what makes it exciting.
For sure, yeah. So I am planning on today going day 1B. I'm gonna fire Monster Stack bullet number 2. You couldn't re-enter yesterday. It was a single entry per day, which I kind of like that format. I think it works out.
Yeah, a lot of they call like deep stacks and monster stacks. They start with a lot of chips, but the structure is pretty fast, and so you end up shallow pretty quickly. This tournament's not like that. You can late reg. The stack's deep, but the levels are long, so it makes a big difference. And I like the bust 1, play 2, bust day 1, play day 2 way of doing it. That seems like a reasonable amount of re-entry without just letting all the pros just fire away 10 bullets and make sure that they get into the money at the end of the day. So kudos to WSOP. I like the way they're putting this event together.
Yeah, no, I saw this one on the sheet and the structure, and I was like, this seems like a good one for me. So
now, when you planned your trip down here, did you give yourself enough time to enter the Monster Stack on day 1A and then finish the final table before you had to fly back?
I'll have to change my flight if we ever get to that point.
But it'll be a good reason to do it
it'll
if
be
the
a
time
good
comes.
reason to do it.
Yeah, eat that change fee. If you're making the final table, that's a good investment to make.
We'll cross that bridge when we come to it, but that seems like a low likelihood event.
Well, with that attitude,
you
listen to
never
this guy.
know. I've won tournaments before.
Yeah, why not you?
Yeah.
I've got this weird gap in the schedule now because I'm coming back on Sunday at 10 a.m. for Monster Stack Day 2. So I am probably just going to play some cash today. I might fire a daily. Full disclosure, I also, a bunch of stuff came up in my day job over email last night, so I might just take a few hours and do a bunch of paperwork down here. Fly down to Las Vegas and spend half a Saturday doing paperwork in your hotel room, but what can you do?
Man,
some of us have day jobs.
I wish I could do some work down here. That sounds like fun. But yeah, no, that's cool. So I'll be firing 1B. Hopefully, play for a while, but we'll see. I have a couple of secondary options. I know we talked about the Golden Nugget yesterday. Mystery Bounty is an option that's out for you because you're already busy on Sunday.
Exactly.
But should I bust from the Monster Stack, I could totally play that.
And let's just mention that one for a second. So that's up at the Golden Nugget. It's got like 3 day ones. Each day one has 3 flights, and it's a 300 entry, and it's got a huge prize pool. Like that's going to be a huge field by the time it's all said and done.
When you do like 9 day ones or whatever it is, like you're going to get a huge prize pool. So that could be cool. That's why I kind of have my eyes on that. Otherwise, I do like the daily deep stacks that they have here too. So that's always a good fun option.
Yeah, I think I'm leaning towards playing cash just because you can sit down and stand up whenever you want, and you can. If I get there early in the day, I might actually get on the list. Whereas, by the time you bust out of a tournament, if you want to go play cash, there's usually like 30 people on the list in front of you, and it might take forever for you to even find a seat. So we'll just see. Yeah. What else have you been noticing while you're down here?
Yeah, so I was thinking we could chat a bit about dealers, because I've seen a lot of stuff on Twitter about dealers. And yesterday, honestly, I had probably the best dealer I've ever had at the poker table. But then just like a few downs later, I think I had maybe one of the worst. So it was definitely like a unique experience. But I guess with bad dealers, like how do you deal with bad dealers? Like it's out of your control. Everyone's trying to like step in and help out, and like it gets a little bit chaotic there because the dealer can't control the table. Like,
yeah.
How do you view that?
Honestly, it's a real. I feel a real tension in that because people may know I'm a generally optimistic, pretty easygoing guy. But one thing that does tilt me at the tables is slow play, slow dealers, and I just have to keep reminding myself, they're doing their best. And let me tell you this, there are good dealers out there and there are bad dealers out there. None of the bad dealers are bad dealers on purpose. For God's sake, give them a break. They're humans too. I see some of the players at the table just really unloading on these dealers, and I feel bad for them because a lot of them, they're here for the series. This might be the only dealing they do in a year. So respect your dealers, folks. It just makes it easier when everyone's having a good time. That being said, I freaking hate slow play. I hate when the play gets broken up because people have to resort out side pots and that kind of stuff. It's one of the few things that really gets underneath my skin. And I just try and sort of like take a deep breath, put the smile on, and just go to my happy place and wait for the next hand. What makes a dealer a good dealer, and what makes a dealer a bad dealer in your experience?
I think speed is definitely part of it.
Yep.
Good dealers will like control the game and like be on top of like making change if someone needs change for the big blind ante. They'll also like be very clear with like where the action is. Some dealers like kind of zone out at some points, but like to like have their focus on each individual player like definitely helps, so everyone like knows where the action is, even if it's as simple as like like a little like mini like hand gesture, like okay, yeah, you hear your turn. So like I love that. But then like the icing on the cake, I think for good dealers, and this is what I had for my potentially best dealer ever, was he dealt really sweet. Like I didn't get it. He held the deck in his hand and he used like 2 fingers on the top and was spinning the cards off the deck, and it was perfect to each person. And then he had it and he was going. And then when he would deal out a flop, you do the 3 cards and then you'd like fan them out. Like every single time he would fan it out, the tiny little space between all the cards, just nice even row. It was just like, I don't know how this guy's doing it. I was distracted for a solid 30 minutes because I was just like mesmerized by like how well this guy was dealing. But and then bad dealers, obviously like they're not speaking up, they're not talking through the different things, they're not keep people accountable, and then they're slowing stuff down. So that's always the big thing. But my rule of thumb, or at least how I approach these situations, and you correct me if you potentially feel differently or add in.
I always do.
But yes, thank you. For dealers, like if no one's speaking up and you have a slow dealer, then you for sure have to speak up and like try and like encourage things along. But if like 3 other people are already like speaking up and like trying to keep in there, adding a 4th voice really isn't going to change too much. So if that's going on, if you're ever trying to like help out, be concise, be very like specific with any sort of like things that you're saying. Otherwise, just kind of like stay out of there, because you don't need. If you have a bad dealer, everyone tries to speak up, and then having 9 dealers at the table
Yeah.
with one guy trying to like deal out cards just doesn't work.
And it can actually raise the tension at the table too, because all of a sudden now people are like giving the dealer conflicting advice, and they're starting to get defensive. And don't forget, a lot of the dealers that are having trouble with side pots and that kind of thing, they're not experienced dealers, so it's understandable for them to get defensive when they feel like they're getting personally attacked, and they're trying their best. But I like the way you put that earlier. I think good dealers, one of the speed is obviously key, and just anything that they can do to remove ambiguity from the game. So clearly announcing actions, like you say, prompting people when it's their turn. Some dealers, I think, once the cards are out, they just kind of like zone out and think about their grocery list or something like that. And it's the difference in kind of elevating them to the next tier when they're involved in the hand, when they're, like you say, keeping people accountable, moving the game along. So cheers to all the excellent dealers down here at the WSOP. It's a tough job. And to all the other dealers there, thank you for doing your best. And we do appreciate it.
Yeah. And the last thing I would say is just keep the negative talk out.
Yeah.
Like, it doesn't help anything.
Right.
Like, there's no reason to, like, start berating them or, like, it can be upsetting sometimes. Like, hey, someone flips a card and it's an ace and, like, that was supposed to be your card, but, like, I don't know. Shit happens. Like, get over it. But, like, getting mad at the dealer, like, isn't going to change things.
Yeah.
But, I mean, I know we talked about, like, cold, hot, bringing stuff to the casino, and I've noticed that the fans are going pretty fast, and I've seen a lot of like pitched cards that catch a draft and like flip up. So like stuff happens. Like just deal with it, work with it, and the game will play out the way that the game plays out.
Mm-hmm. So yeah, it's just been a super exciting trip so far. I can't believe we're only this far into it.
Yeah. So day 1B for me for Monster Stack sounds like cash daily, something like that. I'm sure you'll keep us up to date.
I'll try, yes.
Because we're going to want to know what all happens.
That's right. Now hold on, before we go,
yeah,
there's one thing I want to talk about that's really important to me.
Really?
So everyone, if you're a regular Rec Poker member, you know I'm a big Pittsburgh Steelers fan. But there is room in my heart for the Minnesota Vikings. I really respect that team. It's been a good rivalry back in the day, and you guys are a hard scrabble team like the Steelers are. So that being said, I just want to point this out. Our man Taylor Moss. Hey Taylor, how many days are you down here for on this trip?
Just like 5.
5 days?
Yeah.
So I just want to point out to everybody, these are the shoes that Taylor brought down.
You got it the wrong way. You're just showing yourself.
All right, here we go. These are the shoes that Taylor brought down for his trip. Isn't that amazing? This guy, I mean, look at these. Look at these beautiful kicks. These are Minnesota Vikings shoes, if ever there were. But I am just trying to point out that the guy's on a trip for 5 days. He brings 3 pairs of sneakers. I want your life.
You got to be prepared. You got to
be prepared. You got to be prepared.
All right, we're on break of the Monster Stack. It's pretty freaking chaotic in here, but we've had some crazy levels. So we started off level 1 and we went down to 30K really quickly. Then got back up to 50K really quickly. And then level 2 was pretty terrible for us. We went back down to 30K. I think at first, actually lower than that. First break we were at 20K. So we had 40% of a starting stack. And this is now the second break. Levels 3 and 4 are much better for us, a lot easier for us to do things. We've played a ton of hands and kind of gotten in bad spots a lot of times, but we're sitting at about 35K, something like that. We're slowly grinding our way up. Long structure and all that allows us for that. So we'll do some hand histories in a bit. There's quite a few interesting ones. So I'll break that down in just a little bit. But for now, we're getting back to this sea of crazy people. Everyone on break just kind of chilling, hanging out. So hopefully we can run it up and we have a better update later. All right, we're on dinner break. We grabbed a burger with Jim. He was kind enough to grab us a reservation spot, and we could go out and grab a burger quick, and then get back here. Because yesterday,
for like the first time ever, we were late back from break. Like I'm almost never late back from break, but Jim and I were late back from break. We probably missed 1 or 2 hands or something like that. But we're late because Jim takes for an ever to tie his shoes. It's just unbelievable. Like apparently we have to like build this into our timeline for Jim to tie his shoes, which is kind of ridiculous. Yeah, so we were just a little bit late back from break, and I wanted to make sure we didn't have that this time. But yeah, so last time we talked, we had 35K. Now we have like run it up, where I think up over 100K, right around 100K, something like that. We had some really good levels, really good cards dealt to us, really good spots. All the bluffs got through, all the value was getting called, so it was awesome. It was a really good turnaround. But, yeah, we're coming back. We've got 3 more levels to play for the day, and then we're going to be bagging. So we'll see how these go, but obviously it's finally good to kind of like have some run good, because earlier today I was really feeling like the odds were stacked against us. But yeah, let's play out these 3 levels and see what we can do with our stack.
All right, end of the day for us here. So Daniel Negreanu does this. He does the oops-o-meter. I think we should do the oops-o-meter too. So, oh, by the way, I was in Negreanu's vlog. Just for a tiny bit, I was talking with my wife on the phone, and then he went walking past. Kind of cool. But he does the oops-o-meter. We'll do the oops-o-meter. How did this one play out? There's a limp under the gun. We isolate, king jack suited. Big blind comes along, but the original limper folds. Flop is 10-4-7, I believe. And they check to us, we check back. Turn is an ace. All of a sudden they lead into us for 5K. Should be setting alarm bells off, right? The ace is all ours. Why are they leading into us? But I, for some reason, call. That's the oops. Why are we calling there? Doesn't make much sense. But we did. However, the river was an offsuit queen, so we hit the nut straight, and they check. We bet 15K. They jam pretty quickly. We snap it off. He had flopped a set, and we get a huge chip stack. So that was huge for us. Propelled us. We are bagging 221K. Really good spot for us going into day 2 here. So yeah, we could have had like 330K. Had jacks against ace-9 offsuit. Small stack shoved into us. We snapped it off, but ace on the flop. So yeah, that'll be it for day number 3 of the vlog. We have day 2 of the monster stack coming back, so come check that out. That should be really fun. It's gonna be action packed. So see you then. Peace out.